Hello guys, Wahoo here, back with another video. This time around, a flux guide. Yes, it's been a while since I've done a flux guide, so I thought I was gonna update it a little bit. There was a few of the old ones that didn't really, up to date with what we got right here. So I'm gonna go into a big explanation about what we are going to talk about. But first, we are going to hear a word for the video sponsor, which is, so you're a gamer, but you also like delicious meals, but you don't have time to cook great meals and grind at the same time? Well, I got the solution for you. Oh yes, you guessed it, it's HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Count on HelloFresh to make home cook easy, fun, and affordable. That is why it is America's #1 meal kit. And looking for that easy way to eat well and save money this year? Cut back on expensive takeout and delivery and get started with HelloFresh. You will love how fast, easy, and affordable it is to whip up a restaurant quality meal right in your own kitchen. And with the fast and fresh recipes, HelloFresh's latest line of meal featuring robust flavors and filling portions are ready less than 15 minutes. Enjoy the taste and quality done quick with the recipes like falafel power balls, shared steak and potatoes with béarnaise sauce, and the Southwest pork and beans burritos. To try HelloFresh, just click the link in the description and use my codes for a special limited time discount plus free shipping. And try HelloFresh today. And thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Now back to the Flux Guide. Alright guys, now that we are well fed from the ad, we can start the Flux Guide. So, what could be the first thing that you should be aware of? Well, that should be new stuff. So basically follow this channel. Hey, it was also a self-promotion right there. No. Basically it's all about if there's new stuff, I will cover it on the channel, and there might be some new ores, some new stuff that you can grind. For example, right now, if I go into these one right here, you can see there's actually some new mounts that are in here that drop various places and whatnot. I'll link down the description. I'll link the patch notes that was for the the gunslinger update. There was some mount that was added there. Also some allies that can also be traded, and these are really valuable right now, but that's also very much to change. But this was just an example of what could be profitable for you if you follow the channel and don't use it for yourself, but actually set it up right now, and then later on it will fall in price because everybody has it. That just the supply and demand that always works on the such games as has a marketplace, right? So that's what I meant by following the channel, because if I cover something new, you might be, oh, that might be something I can make some flux out of, and you probably can. Again, in the description you can see where you can find all these mounts and allies with the patch notes, right? So that's what I meant by the following of the channel. For new stuff, that is always going to be a good profit. But you can also make flux and stuff that is already basically old, if you can call it like that, old stuff, because old stuff is, well, not particularly fun to grind for players that has been around for a while, like I have, right? I don't really like, for example, gathering sunlight bulbs, because I have done that plenty when I was just starting out. So if you're just starting out, sunlight bulbs are pretty easy to come by. If you don't know how to get sunlight bulbs, for example, you go, of course, to a peaceful area, and there's these big flower dungeons, if you call it like that. There's not any enemies in them. There's just a lot of flowers, and you just use your weapon or your mount and just run over them, and you get that. And you get that actually extra with Tuesdays, but I'll cover days when we get down a little bit further. So basically, old players don't like to grind old stuff, so that can also be a profit into that. Check the prices on the marketplace if you are interested in knowing what it goes up and down, but also cover in the end actually also market flipping if that's something you are interested in doing. But I feel like it's a little bit more risk versus reward, and I don't recommend it too much because, again, there's a lot of risk with it, but there's also a lot of reward. But that's how it goes with sort of gambling the market, right? So you might be sitting around now thinking, what should you be farming? What could you take? Well, first of all, it's about what days it is, and I'm gonna put up the days right here. I can also put it right here so it looks a little bit better, I guess. But you can see the days. I'll cover that in a little bit, but first we just have to kind of talk about which items you should be going for. Before I mentioned new stuff, for example, right now, and it's also bound to change because new stuff will always be coming out, and it could be coming out. Yes, we just got the Gunslinger update, but there's not that many months from, you know, the summer update. We could get a big update there. There might be coming out a new class, right? And that new class, oh, that's not the one I wanted to click. Of course, for the Bard, Bardium, for example, is still in very high price because it's a class people want still, right? So this is still in good shape, but we might get a new class that also requires a new resource. Usually we do, because they do want us to, not everybody, like they don't want the players that's been playing it for a while just have all the resources to unlock the class immediately. So they introduce some new stuff, so you actually have to go out and actually do something, actually play the game, right? But you can also gather some of the new materials that would actually help for that one. But Bardium right now is still pretty awesome to grind in the delves and also in the geocaves. But like I said, that's how you want to, basically grind your flux, is to keep grinding that one thing that you like to do. So if you like, for example, sunlight balls, as we talked before, if you like doing the geocaves, if you like doing delves, all those things, you just keep doing those you like to do, and the flux will come when you put it on the marketplace. Trove is not a sprint, it's a marathon. I was about to say it's not a marathon, but it is a marathon. Unless you are lucky, and I don't want to be saying too much lucky, because last time I made a video guide, I started up with saying that you had to be lucky to get that big boost of flux, and it is still true. It's all RNG, and there's not something special secret recipe method to grinding Trove flux, because it's all down to RNG basically. So with that out of the way, we kind of covered which ones you should take. I mentioned Bardium, but you should do the thing that you love to do the most. If it's just like me, I'm just grinding dungeons, and whenever I find something, I sell it if I like to or not. And sometimes, most of the time, I sell it right now. But in the beginning, everything I used, and then later on, you'll make more and more flux. But the items are also going to be more and more flux, so it kind of evens out when you go through the game. But let's talk about the days. So as I showed you guys before, you can see it by pressing the welcome menu and going into the days. As you can see, we have all the days right here. Right now it's Friday. Wait, I love Friday. It's actually Saturday, but it hasn't reset yet. But if we do click on Mondays and Tuesdays, Monday and Tuesdays are the days you want to be looking for. The other days, it doesn't mean that you can't grind the other days as well. It doesn't mean you cannot grind delves on like a Wednesday or Thursday. But Wednesdays, of course, you want to look to your gems. You want Thursdays is kind of wonky. There is some talismans, but they're kind of rare and weird to grind and stuff. It's just more better off getting them off the marketplace. Then you got Dragon Day. You really have to be super efficient to get dragon fragments, because you can loot dragon fragments and get some flux out of that. It's not very much, but if you do U11, 10, stuff like that, 9 even, you get a bunch of fragments, but you have to be super efficient getting those fragments from dragons. You basically have to do it in a team and stuff. You can do it solo, but you won't be as efficient, so I don't really recommend going for that. I did that in the past, but there's just, flux is just more abundant now than it was before, and that method is not really relevant anymore. XP Day is, of course, XP Day. That's more for just grinding. The same thing with Loot Day. They're sort of the same. You do get extra magic find here, but it doesn't really have a super significance. A little bit when you have Patron, because you also have that extra boost on top of that, the percentage, but 100 magic find is not that great, to be honest, to do though. But something I can mention is, of course, events. Events is always a great way to earn things, and that, there's a mission, for example, to trigger your magic find and stuff like that. So look out for events. I also cover them here on the channel, so keep an eye out for those. I don't want to make a big deal out of the events, because sometimes there's nothing you can basically contribute to getting a lot of flux. Sometimes there is. Of course, I will cover that on the channel. You can see me grinding also on, when I do my Twitch and stuff like that, so you can check that out. And you can always ask me on Discord or in the comments if you want to, which one is, for example, on the guide, what is making Mux Flux right now, and I'll look it up and check it out. Usually I just you know, play the event and have a good time. Don't really min-max that much in the events, but you could if you want to, and I probably know, or I will find out for you very quickly to do that in the comments of that guide video of the event, basically. So you go ahead and ask. You can also ask in this one. I don't mind answering here or there, it doesn't really matter. Or Discord, like I said, link in the description as well. For Mondays, you do want to do the delves because of these right here in the middle. Crystals is also kind of nice to get, but you can't trade those. But these ones in the middle here is the shadow shards, and the shadow shards, as you can see, there's a double chance of getting that. That's triple if you're a patron. And those can be turned into shadow caches. You can also put the shadow shards on the market, but look first for shadow shards, what they sell for per, and then kind of take out the calculator, see if it's more profitable to sell the shadow shards to, you know, for themselves, or turn them into shadow caches as well. You can also take your Titan souls if you have bought everything else. You can turn them into Titan treasures. You can see that in the shadowy market. If you go there, you can see you can craft also the Titan treasures. Those you can open. It's kind of a gamble because if you put them on the marketplace, they sell for about half of what they use, like what you can get in them. But it's also a low chance to get the other. So it's basically, are you willing to gamble or you just want to make that flux? Like you are guaranteed to get that flux if you put them on the marketplace, right? And yeah, so forth and so forth. So yes, Lunar Souls, not Lunar Souls, Titan Souls also for shadow caches if you want to do that. Shadow caches, Titan treasures, and shadow shards. That's what you want to farm in the delves, and also the other ores that are in there if you want to do so, if you want to take a little bit more time. But usually get that done every single week, and just usually it's best to do it on a Monday. You can do delves any day you want to. So if you miss it on Monday, don't worry. You can do it another day, but you won't have as many shadow shards dropping. Inner Geode is, of course, something for yourself, and they cannot be traded, and Crystal cannot. So it's all about the shadow shards and the ores and the Titan souls as well. But Titan souls, again, I just want to mention this. Get these stuff you can. There's basically some mastery stuff in there. Get that first before you turn them into Titan treasures, because you will get, in the long run, you will get more out of getting the items unlocked than actually using the Titan treasures. So just wanted to mention that. And then you got Tuesdays. That's, of course, the gathering day. If you have, you know, you can do radiant shards in the Skylands. You can do ores, and you can do fish. Fish do sell for pretty nice amount, but you cannot put them on the marketplace. You cannot put them here. So you do have to go to the trade chat. Let's just go into the chat, as you can see here, /trade. Or as a join trade, I think it's join trade, like that. And then you have trade, and then people are going to, if you want to leave trade again, you just leave 3. There we go. So that left trade. So if you want to do so, you can do that, but you do have to find somebody. So you have to be spamming that channel. And yeah, it's not always you're gonna have people wanting to buy your stuff. The marketplace is a little bit easier because you can just place it in here, right? Place your items and then just, you know, do whatever you want to, and then it will sell at some point. Maybe you do have to go down in price a little bit. Sometimes just look up what it is. Usually I just sell it for quite a significant less than what it's worth, because I just want to make a profit. I don't want to wait around too long to get it. And yeah, I just also kind of want to help out people, and I want to drive prices kind of a little bit down as well. I know it's kind of, maybe somebody's out there is like, are you the one who's driving down the prices? I'm not like selling things for like dirt cheap. Like I am selling it, but a little bit, quite significant lower usually sometimes, like maybe a couple of, maybe 1,000 flux or something like less. So just kind of driving the prices down a little bit, just to maybe help out a few people. It could be, I know maybe 1,000 flux is not much, but if it can go down further, you know, I'm trying to help the whole community. That's basically what it's all about. So Tuesdays, to finish up Tuesdays, basically, it's also mostly about gathering that ore. You get 50% non-patron for getting extra ore. So when you are gathering, for example, nitro, which is in the, you know, geo topside worlds, or you're doing the bardium, as we talked about before, all this works as well. If it's an ore, it does work. But I do want to say it do not work for things that comes out of boxes. So if it is in a box, it is an ore in a box, it doesn't, don't get extra from that. It does have to be from the ore itself, and there's plenty of ores out there. You can see there's some examples of what you can be farming. You can also do gardening, but I would not recommend doing gardening unless you do have to have the batches. I'm gonna show right here. I know my big face is in the way. It's gonna be there in a couple of times, but you can basically see right here, I do have gardening. So if you have something still to work on with the batches, you can do, gardening, and that you can sell the stuff that you got from that. But I would not recommend doing gardening as a profit unless you really like it. I wouldn't say it's not profitable, because it is, especially with some events and such, but yeah, usually it's not that fun to do. At least it wasn't super fun for me to do. So Mondays and Tuesdays, that's where you just get extra. You can do delve every single day if you want to do so. You can gather ore every single day if you want to do so. Again, also keep in mind that things on Monday and Tuesday, like for example ores or the shadow caches, go down in price on Mondays and Tuesdays usually, because that's where people farm them, and that's where there's abundant, and people put them on the marketplace there. So maybe look to the end of the week, and then they might go up in price a little bit. But other people could also be doing that. So it's really up to you when you want to put them up. It's not a crazy amount of difference there is from like a Monday to a Saturday, for example, or such. So don't hold out on too much. Just maybe it's better just to get it, because the faster you get your flux, the more you can power up your characters. Then you can go into places that has, more profit, and so on and so on. So don't hold on to it forever, kind of being scared of putting it on the marketplace. So one of the other things I want to talk about is tomes. I just want to mention tomes. I do like tomes. I love tomes. Again, my face is in the way, but there's a bunch of tomes. For example, I want to mention these here, the ones that gives you the charts, circuits, and the what's it called? They're called these are the loops, and these are the matrices. These I sell every single week. I get 5 of them. These are also used to make the beacons for the rampages. So if you are interested in doing rampages, you might want to get these and actually use them. So it's not always a good thing to just sell things, but tomes, basically you can gather items that you are not really going to use, and then you can put them on the marketplace. And there is a bunch of them. I just favored some of these right here, but if I go into show all and go here, you can see I have a bunch of them right here. These, for example, these are some I don't do anymore because I don't get that many weekly tomes done. You can also do the these, the repeatable ones, and with those you basically look them up on the marketplace. You open your marketplace, see sharpstone or the blue ore or the yellow ore, or mushrooms. Actually, let's take mushrooms for example. How much is 50 mushroom chunks right now in the marketplace, and then just like calculate every single one of them if you want to do so. Usually the new stuff, for example the ashen fern, is of course the one that's going to sell for probably most, but it can change very on what you basically have of these. Also maybe plasmium or something like that. Whatever tome you have, if you just have the one tome, just keep running that one. But I did want to mention all of these. And also you can fish up a tome if you do got the blue fishing pole, the one that right here, the Murkwater marked Merker. That's the one you get in the hub. I've made a fishing guide as well. I'll put that fishing guide in there, how you are going to get this one, and you can fish it up in the new Sunderlands biome, the one that's out here. So you can fish it here, and there's a bunch of stuff. You can figure out how you fish it up. If you go to that video and go to that one's description, there's a link to a spreadsheet that tells you how to get that one as well. But I did want to mention tomes because it's kind of a passive way to get a bunch of stuff that you can sell, or you can get it for yourself, and then you can boost yourself up, get more power, and then you can be faster and gather more stuff and whatnot. Lastly, I want to talk about market flipping. So market flipping is, I'm not going to go into depth into it. It's basically what it is. You take an item you think is selling really low, and then you sell for very high, but there's a chance that it might just not end up being what you paid for it, and then you're gonna make less money on it. But I do want to mention the market flipping. It's a really good method if you know the market, if you know what's gonna go up. For example, also following this channel, right? Let's say that sunlight bulbs is gonna be the new item that is gonna be used for the new class that's coming out. That's just an example. And let's say you need 20 million sunlight bulbs, right? And right now sunlight bulbs are, I don't know what sunlight bulbs are right now, but let's say they're very, very low priced, right? And nobody knows about it, or not, you know, the game hasn't really caught up with that it's gonna go up in price, but it will pretty quickly because other people might have the same idea. But let's say then you buy up 20 million sunlight bulbs for like 20 million, right? It's gonna be 20 million. And then when the update comes out, everybody needs sunlight bulbs, right? People don't wanna go out there and farm 20 million sunlight bulbs. They're gonna go buy it on the marketplace. So you put them up and you make 40 million, for example, on them because you double price and everybody wants them, right? It's the supply and demand, right? So just wanted to mention that, but it's not always gonna be like that. There's just an example of sunlight bulbs. It's probably gonna be some new ore, as I mentioned in the beginning. So I have been rambling on enough in this video for sure. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely did doing it. And again, thank you to HelloFresh for sponsoring the video. Again, check out the description for my code and for the special link, and also for the other videos that are in there. So again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.